chug a look. Make you want to holler, hidey ho. Why don't you tell me, don't you know? Chug a look, chug a look.
So this is SFBarkast. This is an amendum to...
An amendum? I say it's a bonus.
Okay,
it's a bonus
episode. This is for the...
hardcore.
The hardcore listeners, like the ones who subscribe to our newsletter.
You know, this is a reward for everybody that put up with our long Christmas break. And, that started off all jazzed about it, all one or two of you. All none of you. And and then we're like, hey, wait, where to go? Like, why? They started off so strong. They made 5 of them. Then they skipped a couple weeks. Why? And first of all,
because of the birth of Jesus. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
First of all, really, it's Christmas. Get over it.
Exactly.
You probably
get over
presents.
yourself. It's Christmas. Stop listening to podcasts and hang out with your fucking family for a little while.
Exactly. Jesus Christ, I've had enough of you listeners.
Although you know what. Probably when you go home for Christmas, you really do need a break from the family, and having a nice podcast would, we're two foul-mouthed assholes, review bars. That would be kind of a nice little change.
Yeah, as headphones get smaller and smaller, people could be literally sitting at the table and watching their parents mouth our words. So they're blah blah blah. Their mouths are just moving and they're listening to us because it's far more entertaining.
By the way, you know how our biggest complaint from our listeners is that we don't talk about the bar that much.
Right.
We've already started this barcast and we haven't said where we are. We could be in the back of a muni bus somewhere.
Should we even mention it?
Fuck it. It doesn't really.
Have we mentioned it at the very end? We're by the way, we've been at.
yeah, we're at Terry's Lodge.
We are at Terry's Lodge.
We're at Terry's Lodge in the Sunset. I guess it's still the inner Sunset. For some reason, I thought it was further down, but it's at 15th and Irving.
15th and Irving,
and this is on the recommendation of our last guest.
Yes, well, and you know what? It's a place that I always wanted to come to as well. Mainly because it's one of the bars that opens at 6 a.m. in the city.
It does open at 6 a.m., doesn't it?
Yeah, and also. What I remember it as is this linoleum, brick hospital basement of a bar. That was so goddamn depressing that you could barely bring yourself to order a drink because you're you know what, I'm suicidal already. Just from the atmosphere of this place.
You painted a wonderful picture of the bar. I think this is our second 6 a.m. bar. Remember?
Clooney's.
Clooney's.
George Clooney's.
George Clooney's. Yes.
But you know what? I'm not sure if this is to my dismay or to my great delight. But they've done a little bit of sprucing up here.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about with the Wishing Well before and Muriel's. It's a little sad for people who are into dive bars,
right.
That when it gets taken over and someone's I'm going to spruce up this joint.
Right.
But you know what? It is an improvement.
You know what? I mean,
some places could use.
It was like you said, VFW. Meets, meets Insane Asylum. And it was just you waited for orderlies to come and be well, how'd you get down here? Mr.
Yeah, it's one of those places that could have used an upgrade, and it's not like there's fog machines and techno music playing.
Right. Well, they didn't turn it into Bourbon and Branch or something like that. I mean, it's still a meat and potatoes kind of bar without the meat or potatoes.
It's definitely a neighborhood bar, and so it's got a pool table, which is great.
Right.
And I believe I can see from here it's free pool, and it's just a one kind of long bar with regulars hanging out. We're here in the afternoon, so.
And now they have this sort of couch arrangement that we're in with 4 tables. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, Matt was complaining that they spruced the place up and they put in padded booths.
Right.
You're missing the picnic tables or lawn chairs or something like that.
I know. Before it was squat in the corner over there. That'll be fine. We'll get you a milk crate to sit on. But I kind of like how there's still definitely the whole local vibe here and that, and they're basically all crammed in one corner. And it's not the most comfortable corner. They're basically you know what? I was born here. I'm gonna die in this corner. I don't care how many comfortable booths you put up. I'm sitting in the same fucking stool.
Well, Andrew, like, you don't want to be too spread out because, like, as you and I both know, yelling across the bar, telling someone to go fuck themselves, it really sucks when you can, like, just kind of lean over and tell them that.
Unless it's a bar that's sort of custom made for that, like Clooney's was, where you have like this, like, sort of circle of death, or like fucking.
Everybody had to like look at each other and think about all the
Roman
bad shit
Coliseum or something. It was just like, you over there that I can sort of see, like. If I ever can get up from this seat, I'll kick your ass.
They've got like some interesting. I wouldn't call this place a sports bar, but they have like a lot of sports like jerseys up.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like it looks like they sort of went like bargain shopping for like at like one of those places in the mall where you got like a Monte Ellis jersey and like a few of your classic like sort of. You get like a FC Barcelona jersey from a couple of years ago. It's not current, and like I mean, it's sort of put here like, and this place 10 years ago, I'm sure didn't have 5 or 6 big screen TVs in it, like flat screens in it. Like
exactly.
Like they're lucky if they had one black and white, like showing Willie Mays.
It is kind of feel like, once again, like we talked about Yancey's, it feels like a neighborhood bar where if you came here to watch the Niner game, everything, like, this place would be packed. Yeah. Or, well, maybe not packed, but like everybody would be watching the game.
Exactly.
It's not like somebody would be like
boisterous and like
There's not a whole lot of live tweeting going on at Terry's Lodge. That's what I'm saying.
People aren't here for the homemade chicharrones.
It's not a foodie bar.
Not at all.
But when we walked in here, like, there's no music playing, but they have like the televisions going, and they had like Man versus Food on, which seems like kind of a weird choice, but I don't know how you feel about that. But like, I hate all that. Like when did like eating become like an extreme sport?
Oh, I know. Yeah, like it's the worst possible thing.
But how did that guy? Okay, so now I'm going to go off on this Man versus Food thing.
Please.
The guy, I don't know who the host is.
His name is Adam Richman, I believe.
Adam Richman. Okay. Like, how did he get?
That name is taking up valuable space in my head. Like,
you could lose those neurons and not totally be fine.
Great.
So how did that guy get a show? Like, I know we know like Kobayashi, we know the little
Joey
Asian
Chestnut,
girl, Joey Chestnut, and like those people are like eating champions. And who is this jackass?
He's sort of like my only assumption is that he just sort of walked up to Food Network Incorporated and said, hey, I'm a big fat slob who can eat. Like, give me my own show. And they were like, why not? We were
like, well, we have some extra monies laying over here. Well, I guess like that's the thing with like reality television. It costs like very little to produce. It's like flights, cameras, and just some big obnoxious asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said the other day, like that you can pretty much take the most boring activity or thing you can think of in your entire life and add the word wars to it, and you got yourself a reality TV show.
That is totally true.
Like, there are people that would watch Leftover Soup Wars or like Old Shoe in the Street Wars.
There was one where it was like some people who were like digging for treasure, so it's like extreme diggers or something like that.
Oh God!
And I remember thinking like, wait a minute, those assholes get their fucking show? Like, where's my show? Like, I could be like extreme like laying around guy and like probably get better ratings than that.
3 weeks without laundry wars.
Exactly. Paying the phone bill. Extreme phone bill paying.
I mean, there's an actual show called Extreme Couponing. There's an actual show called there's storage wars and like shipping wars.
I don't even want to get into like I don't even want to know like the ratings for shit like that because it would probably be really depressing to me.
I'm
like
sure,
if I found out like Extreme Couponing was a lot of people watch that, I would just probably lose faith.
Well, I think that especially if you compared it to what something like Breaking Bad or like Mad Men. Like those shows aren't highly rated. I mean, like everyone thinks that they're great and everyone acknowledges them.
Is that a cat or a wolf?
It's a dog. Oh my God, that is from from the legs down, it looks exactly like a cat, but it turns out to be a dog.
But he looks like there's like this animal. This is like small dog, maybe like 10 pounds. No, less than that, like 6 pounds. And he looks like he's lost. Whose dog is that? Does that dog like walk in here?
This has been the what livestock is running through Terry's Lodge report.
Well,
section of the show.
These two, oh, okay, I think I know what's going on here now. Like, well, these two girls like came in, and they're like, attractive young girls, and so I thought like maybe because it's a small dog, maybe it's kind of like one of those, like, this is my
handbag dog.
This is a handbag dog. I put it in my Gucci handbag and whatever. But like the dog looks so damn scared. But you know what? His owner is over at the ATM machine, and that's why he was scared because he couldn't find her.
Okay.
But like he did look like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm at Terry's Lodge again. I'm having that nightmare again.
Why can't I be in a classier place? But as far as Terry's Lodge itself, which according to our friend Matt, Matt Redacted, he said that it's now got a different name. Oh, and it's like Terry's Tavern, I think, instead of Terry's Lodge.
Is that true?
Like, the sign outside still says Terry's Lodge. So
Terry's Tavern, I guess it's like, it's catchier.
Right.
But Terry's Lodge.
I mean, Terry's Lodge sort of implies, like you know what, like, these are 4 or 5 drunk guys that started a place in, like, 1938 and, like, never got over it.
That's the thing. Like, Lodge, for me, it conjures up these notions of
Elks Club,
and like the benevolent lodge of Elks or whatever, Kiwanis or something like that.
Basically, lodge means we'll keep out the undesirables, if you know what I mean.
I used to talk about like the Elks and say like, if people don't know what the Elks are, it's like especially in my hometown in Massachusetts, if you're an old racist Irish guy and you don't feel like society is picking up what you're laying down, like nobody understands you can go to the Elks. And
if you're angry that they put padded booths and a faux wood floor in your bar,
because it's nice to be around people with similar disinterests as you, so they keep out the riffraff. Either in their mind they're like, we got to keep out the riffraff, but really like they're just penning in their own like trouble.
Right. I actually used to work for a guy in Stamford, Connecticut, that owned a air conditioning business, and he got kicked out of the Elks for being too drunk.
Wow, that's like getting kicked out of the replacements for being too drunk, which is that one dude did.
Right.
It just like makes no sense.
I would like to think that even like Tommy Stinson was like, I can't be in the replacements anymore. I'll just join the Elks Club. They're like, you can be our designated driver.
It really is like too bad about the replacements. I know like we should be talking more about the bar, but really that guy must have been like, this is a rock and roll band. You're kicking me out for drinking? What the fuck? Like this, like
and our whole reputation isn't exactly like, hey, let's go see those clean and sober guys.
This isn't like the new radicals. We don't have like a very like positive like message to give everybody. We're drunk guys from Minnesota.
Oh man, I went and saw the replacements, and like they didn't seem to like have their dance moves down. And, like,
it kind of seemed like they didn't care this time on this tour.
It's like they were slurring some of their words. Like, I came to see the replacements, not a bunch of drunk guys.
Paul Westberg might have been a little tipsy too during that concert.
Boo!
I have a friend. He's going to be Steve Redacted, who lives in New Jersey. That he was going to go to a Paul Westerberg show, and he loved the replacements so much. And my friend Diana was going with him. And I remember like he went to this bar right around my neighborhood and said, "Hey, Jeff," he called me. He's like, "Jeff, come on down. I'm going to see a rock and roll show tonight." And like to him, it was just like, and so he just kept drinking. And when it was time for the two of them to go, like she looked at me like, gave me that look like, save me. And I was like, Diana, it'll be totally fine. Don't worry. He's just going to a rock and roll show. He'll be fine. Apparently, he vomited in the Fillmore during the show, and she had to take him out, and they missed the whole fucking show. Classic.
Even the replacements themselves were probably like,
get that guy some help.
Jesus, like, We do not condone that kind of behavior in our fans.
Oh my God!
Look, we can be that drunk. We can be drunk enough to play this, but you shouldn't be as drunk as us to watch it.
Right? They're probably like, you guys know, you over there puking in the side. You know this is an act, right? This is show business. Show business.
Exactly. Gotcha. Well, we should take a break and decide whether this is still a good idea or not.
All right, sounds good. This is SFBarkast, and we're at Terry's Lodge.
Terry's Lodge.
In the inner sunset.
Inner/middle sunset.
All right.
Whatever you want to call it.
All right, bye. All right, so this is the SFBarkast bonus edition.
Bonus!
Boing!
Wait, hold on.
Wait, where's the...
Keep going.
We need some bonus-like music here from the...
I think just saying bonus again. Bonus!
I don't think that's going to pick up, but whatever. Okay, so we're at Terry's Lodge in the Inner Sunset, 15th and Irving.
Uh-huh.
And it is... I like this bar. It's fun.
Yeah,
people... Like, we got here, like, right before... people just get off work. And so it's gotten a little bit more crowded. There are people playing pool.
I could live in the middle sunset.
Middle sunset? You could?
Yeah. Because I think like, it's it's sort of low key. Like neither me or my wife are big fans of hot weather, and it's always sort of like chilly and cloudy here.
It's a good thing you moved to San Leandro.
I know, yeah.
Which is like blistering hot.
But I mean, it's still better than like Connecticut or New York or something like that, where it's like half of the year it's like unbearably hot and humid. And,
yeah, absolutely. But this neighborhood, it still is the Inner Sunset.
Yeah,
that
it has yet to be. It's close enough to. I mean, we were sort of talking about a little bit of the gentrification that's been going on in like the Inner Sunset and fancy Japanese restaurants and whatnot.
Most of that happens on 9th.
Yeah,
9th Avenue, and right around Irving. So it's a little bit off of that beaten path.
There's a few speaking from a sort of food standpoint. When you get out to like Noriega and like that, apparently there's some of your better Korean hole in the wall places are there.
Really?
Where you can find super hot fucking like great Korean food just in a dive somewhere.
I vaguely remember somebody telling me that there's actually like a Korean restaurant that's in like somebody's garage.
Oh wow!
And it's supposed to be like really good.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that the Food Network would pick up on.
Probably.
It's like
I heard a long time ago I heard Koreans referred to as the Irish of Asia because they're sort of like
the Irish of Asia.
They're sort of like hard drinking, fighting. They're the sort of like bastard stepchild of the region.
Well, it's funny because when I was in New Zealand, I was talking to this bartender, and he I was just shooting this shit, and I mentioned something about I've never been to Ireland. And he goes, oh, well, New Zealanders consider themselves the Irish of the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh.
And so now I'm hearing that the Koreans are the Irish of Asia. And all I can say to these countries is aim higher.
Right.
Okay.
You're gonna be like, oh no, Samoans are the Irish of the Hawaiian Islands regions.
No. Let's not argue about who outside of Ireland gets drunk and passes out and beats people. We do it.
I'll be going to Iceland soon, and I'm sure they'll refer to themselves as the Irish of Scandinavia.
Goddamn North motherfuckers.
The assholes in Sweden don't know what they're missing.
So hey, remember we mentioned about the jerseys here.
Yeah.
So they have like a bunch of like sports jerseys.
Right.
And we could read a few of them, like Frank Gore and Monta Ellis. Monta Ellis, who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks now.
Right.
So that should come down. But the other ones, I walked over there. Willie McCovey.
Okay. Wait, now is that is that who? Like, is that a? What team is that?
I know it looks like a Tigers jersey.
I know that's what I was gonna say. It looks like blue and white or something.
But it's McCovey jersey. So, but maybe it's like some sort of throwback or whatever. And then right next to that is a Terrell Owens San Francisco 49ers jersey, and there's like reasons to take that one down as well, because like he is a horrible person and he like has a reputation of throwing every single quarterback he's ever played with under the bus.
But at the same time, you know what? Like, there was a period of time where that's all the 49ers had going for them was like Terrell Owens and a bag of shit.
Yeah, well, or Steve Young. Oh no, you know what? You're right. Because Steve Young left, and then it was Jeff Garcia who was the quarterback, and that's when Terrell Owens really started to misbehave.
Right.
And so they sent him away. Okay, so here's the last jersey that's there, and this is the really confusing one. For Terry's Lodge in the inner sunset of San Francisco.
Okay.
It's a USA Basketball Paul Pierce jersey.
Wow. So
not a Kansas Jayhawks jersey, not a Celtics jersey. USA Basketball.
Where did he go to high school? Do you have any idea?
He is from Inglewood, California.
Oh, okay. So they're obviously big Inglewood fans here.
Exactly. It's just a few hundred miles away, Andrew.
That explains all of the sort of Ice Cube merchandise they have around.
So, Terry's Lodge, their sports allegiances totally confusing.
Yeah.
What did you buy? What beer is this?
This is a Sierra Nevada I got for you.
God, it tastes like insect repellent.
This is literally the closest thing they have to a craft beer of any kind.
Believe me, I know. We've ordered some food, okay? So here's another one of the upgrades. Like, I didn't know that they had food at Terry's, and so
taking quite a risk.
We are rolling the dice here, okay?
Like, I think probably the worst wings I've ever had was that place in Valencia, like near the sort of like hipster hotel that got taken over.
There was a place on Valencia Street that nobody would ever go to, and they had like this big sign outside that said like New York style wings.
Right. It was like,
and you go in there and you just like the first thing you think. There's nobody in there, and the food is so terrible. The first thing you think is like, you guys are making meth out back, right? Because you picked like one of the stinkiest foods to make, and nobody's ever in here, and you're always open. I mean, I've seen Breaking Bad. I know how these things work.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm no dummy.
Speaking of, you want to do a little movie talk here?
We can do movie talk if you like.
This morning, the Oscar nominations came out, and I heard through the grapevine, that Catherine Bigelow did not get nominated for Best
that was probably the
director.
The biggest snubs and flubs.
That makes no sense to me because I saw Zero Dark 30 the other night, and one of the most compelling things about the film is the direction.
Yeah, it's weird that it would be nominated in other categories and not direction, since like basically everyone knows what's going to happen. Like, it's a story that everybody's familiar with. So the only way that could be an interesting or compelling movie is if someone does it really well.
You're absolutely right, because there have been two movies this year where I knew exactly what happened because they're historical movies. One Argo, and the other
Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus. No, Prometheus was a documentary.
Right.
Okay. And also Zero Dark 30. We all know what happens there. But like, even like when they're doing the storming of Osama bin Laden's compound, it's like, I knew like one of the helicopters crashed, and like when it happened, I was just on the edge of my seat. Right. There were so many times in that movie where like I actually realized that my mouth is wide open because I can't believe what I just saw. Like, oh my god! And it is a testament to the direction.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting that she she won for her last movie. She won Best Director.
Well,
now this year she's like, oh yeah, we love this movie, but not you. Did she say something on stage last time?
Maybe like next time, like James Cameron is nominated as well, they can be like, oh yeah, like we'll give you another one because like the only reason you won is because we wanted to say fuck you to James Cameron.
By the way, that was one of my favorite moments of that year. Was like, Avatar got nominated for Best Picture and like Director, and it's just a fucking horrible movie.
Right.
And like like it's a blockbuster, one of the biggest movies, maybe the biggest movie of all time.
I think it might be, yeah.
And and basically the Hollywood Oscars like kowtowed to the fact that it made so much money and nominated it, but it had no business being nominated for Best Picture.
Right.
And when James Cameron's ex-wife, Catherine Bigelow, won Best Picture, it was, and for a movie that had made, I think at the time, like $16 million.
Right.
Like, that must have been like the most glorious moment where she like walked out there and be like, hey, remember me?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, here come our wings.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I think we should take a break because we have our food now.
That'd be a terrible podcasting mistake would be to like try to eat these and podcast at the same time.
See, we're learning on the fly.
Thanks.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We'll be back.
All right.
All right, we're back. SFBarkast at Terry's Lodge.
Terry's Lodge.
In the Inner Sunset. 15th in Irving.
Why did you turn into like Edward R. Murrow or something like that? We're
yes, here we go. No.
We're at Terry's Lodge, 15th in Irving. These are the facts.
Edward R. Murrow sounds a lot like Larry King, by the way. Terry's Lodge, go ahead.
London, go ahead.
So we just had our wings, and you know what? It was hotter than I thought it was, because initially I was like, oh, this isn't that hot.
Right.
Because I told that when I ordered them, I said, you can't make this hot enough. But I think that maybe he thought that was like a directive.
Right.
It wasn't like sarcasm, like saying like, hey, I'm challenging you.
Please do not make this hot enough.
Right. But no, it actually is pretty hot. Like, it's kind of a creeper hot.
Yeah, a little bit.
But that's another one of the upgrades of this place is that they have like food here.
Right.
Also, I'm realizing like right in the back, over by the food where you order the food, they have a PGA Tour scoreboard and a 12th hole Pro-Am summary. So something tells me this place is like really into golf, but I never would have guessed.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's like an excuse to gamble, like because it almost looks like like one of those boards where like they're like like, hey Bobby, like you guessed like 6 strokes, like you're in first place. It's like
Andrew, betting on golf, Jesus Christ.
Well,
like I want to be less bored. Okay, I get bored watching golf.
But look at the regulars of this place.
You're
right. They're degenerates, and B, they're already pretty fucking bored.
Yeah, you don't want to give anybody like a heart attack,
right.
by turning on the basketball game or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like bet on golf. That's like it's a nice easy letdown. Like,
Flash forward to the end of my life, I'm like betting on golf, and that's how I go out.
You'd be like under a bridge going, God damn it, if only like fucking Jose Olazabal had come through.
But you know what? In the short time we've been here, and we're going to keep this short, that
Yeah, it's a bonus. It's not a regular episode, so don't get greedy.
Exactly. You get what you pay for, people.
Exactly. Jesus Christ.
But I like this bar. It's a place that I probably wouldn't want to go to on the weekend at night, just because I feel like there would be other better places to go, like for like nightlife.
And it's a bit of a stretch to get here. I mean, like if you're not like you're not driving or taking a bus or something it's a long kind of long way from where you live.
But it is a place I'd like to go to, like maybe watch like a Niners game. Right. Something tells me you will like run into a lot of people who live in the neighborhood, and you will meet some real people here.
Yeah, it's a good sort of place for like you say, it's sort of like real hardcore, like sort of like not only hardcore drunks but probably hardcore sports fans that I can't see a lot of people like coming here that are like, I just moved to San Francisco and started rooting for the Niners. It's mostly going to be I've been with a team since goddamn they started.
Yeah, I should say that when I said it's not a place I would probably go to on a Friday, Saturday night for nightlife. Of course not. If you are going to Terry's Lodge on a Friday, Saturday night for nightlife, you have made a severe error in judgment.
It's like the rest of your night, best case scenario will be your worst case scenario.
You would only come here on those nights if you wanted to be alone.
Right.
I need to be alone with my thought.
No, it's a fun place, though.
One interesting thing is that
it's interesting.
Nobody's watching the television, but they have the television, the sound up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they changed it over to something else. Whatever. Okay, this is getting boring. And I think that is the sign that it's time to sign off.
Yeah, Jesus, get out several, maybe 20 minutes after the getting was good.
Exactly. So here we are, SF Barkast from Terry's Lodge. I'm Jeff Cleary.
Special bonus episode.
The special quit your bitching episode.
Exactly. Now we have to come back here again.
I just want to come on and say we love all of our listeners, and we appreciate all of their time.
That's easy to say because there are so few of them. You have enough love for all of our listeners. You can thank them all individually.
I should just say, I love you, Drew.
Drew, my wife, as long as she's on cross-country plane flights.
Exactly. Anybody who's stuck in traffic or kind of bored.
Accidental listeners, we like them too.
Exactly. Yeah, people who come upon us by accident. All right, but this is SF Barkast. We're signing off from Terry's Lodge.
Terry's Lodge. See you soon.
Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug, make you wanna holler, hidey-ho. Burns your tummy, don't you know? Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug.